What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. Let's go with the 53 position by position here, boys. It's not going to be as tedious as it maybe sounds, or at least I hope not. If it is, just deal with the tedium and hang out with us. Quarterback, Derek Carr, Jameis Smith, and Jake Haener. There was maybe some discussion there for a minute about Jameis, but Jake never pulled a, who do you keep talking about? Badgett?
Tyson Badgett, yeah.
Yeah. So
I thought you'd be more into that story because of his father being an arm wrestling champion.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that's the guy we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. The West are they from West Virginia originally?
Yeah, and then went to Shepherd.
Shepherd College. Right? That's right. Yeah, he got P.J. Walker and Nathan Peterman cut.
It's beast. Good job. But that's what I'm saying. So Haener couldn't do that. Wide receiver, Chris Olave, Mike Thomas, Rashid Shaheed, of course. A.T. Perry, we knew that. Traquan Smith. Hell yeah. Can't keep a good man down, dude. Traquan still holding down on the 53. But that's not all. They kept 6 receivers. Kept Keith Kirkwood as well because, of course, you got to keep Keith Kirkwood.
You do?
Yeah, you always have to keep Keith Kirkwood. If you want to win, you have to keep Keith Kirkwood. This is true. Maybe not Traquan, but yes on KK.
No, yeah, I mean I would keep Kirkwood over Traquan, honestly.
They cut Shaq Davis. They think if he clears waivers, they'll bring him back practice squad. Don't know what's going to happen to John Shea Kirkland. Feel like he's done up for some P squad to pick him up, but we'll
sure.
See.
For practice squad.
Yeah, practice squad's a pretty sweet gig nowadays too, dude.
Yeah.
16 of them things, $200K. If you've been on it for a couple years, it goes up to what, like 3 something? Yeah. Jeez.
And now you can have a handful of those guys be veteran players. Like you can be a decade in the NFL and be on the P squad now.
Oh well. Running backs, Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller, Kirk Merritt, and of course Alvin Kamara is going to be there. Fullback. They kept the fullback. How about it, Jake?
Well, I don't know why you grimace like that.
I was setting him up. I was setting the people up. Yeah. Adam Prentice, dude, fullback, making the team. Hell yeah.
Played well. I mean, he's been playing
Lucas
well.
Kroll.
Yeah, you can play in fullback. You can about that life. You can about that bend. You can about low man winning.
Tight end. I'm sorry, Kroll. That was needless. You didn't do anything.
No, it's not needless. Tight ends are not fullbacks. Just like fullbacks are not tight ends.
Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill, Foster Morrow, and Jimmy Graham. It's so funny to think back a few weeks ago on our Jimmy Graham conversations, like what's the role here? Will he even make the team? And he pretty much went and done and did it. He asserted himself and really capping it with that just excellent 2-catch drive and showing that, no, I still got, there's some juice left in these old bones yet. If Graham does come back and is very successful, it's a fascinating case study that we've seen with a couple other guys, because Gronk did this as well, right, where it's such a brutal game. And sometimes for some of these elite guys, like a year sabbatical is almost not the worst thing, right? Now, for the majority of guys, it's going to be the end of your career. You're going to be out of it. You're never going to get back in the flow. You're never going to find it again. But maybe for some of these elite, like Ricky Williams, back in the day, like, because Graham talked about he could barely even walk when he got done playing football. Then he started spiking and spinning and everything. And now look at him. He looks like he's good out there. Now I'll be interested to see how his body holds up during the 17 games. But great job. Good on him.
Yeah.
He's still Jimmy Graham. I mean, step slow for sure. But what you saw on Sunday night, he's capable of doing stuff that the other tight ends on his roster are not capable of doing, even still.
Maybe Juwan Johnson is capable, but I don't think he has he's physically capable. He doesn't have the craftiness. Yeah. The salty vet secret moves. I don't know if Juwan Johnson played basketball. I mean,
Did you know that Jimmy Graham did?
I learned the other day when I was watching the broadcast because he was boxing people out in the end zone. On the offensive line, you kept 9. Now, is that normal? And then just on the game day, you only carry 7, or is 9 a high number for a 53? Because you're not carrying 9 out of the 48, right?
No, some people risk it and go 8. They'll go backup center, swing guard, swing tackle. Mm-hmm. But I like 9, and then you can dress 8 on game day.
So you have Ryan Ramczyk, Eric McCoy, Cesar Reeves, Trevor Penning, James Hurst. Of course, those are like your starters. Andrews Pete, Landon Young, Nick Saldiveri, and Max Garcia. Who is Max Garcia? Is it backup? I don't know.
Yes, backup center.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. We like to have full disclosure here on this show. We're not a show that doesn't admit when we're wrong or only when we're right. I have never heard that name before.
No, I know. There's like 2 or 3 names on this list that are positions that we've talked about that make the team, but I never have heard of them. Shout out Max Garcia.
Like even like Kirk Merritt. Like I know who Kirk Merritt is, but like I don't know what position he plays because he's like in this group he's as a running back, but he's listed on the roster as a receiver. I'm like, you're a team's guy. You're a war daddy.
Yeah. Yes.
It should just have war daddy next year. Then.
Surprised he made it over Merriweather with how good Merriweather played in the preseason.
I think they're hoping to stash him, is what everybody's saying on Merriweather. You know, is he going to avoid?
Well, I mean, Kirk Merritt's not getting carries.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is strictly a war daddy situation.
100%.
Well, like you were talking about, you're like, is he a special teamer guy? Like that? Yeah, that's a Merrick thing. That one surprised me. Also, I really thought Calvin Throckmorton maybe had a shot over Max Garcia. That one surprised me a little bit as well.
Yeah, great name, Calvin Throckmorton.
Yeah,
like
should be a Viking.
Yeah, he does have kind of Viking-esque vibes. Defensive end, Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, Tano Passanio, Peyton Turner, and Isaiah Foskey. No surprise there. Not a single one to be found. D tackle, no surprise here either because these guys are playing well, and we already talked about it. Brian Brzee, Kalen Saunders, Nathan Shepard, Malcolm Roach. Yep. Linebacker, Demario Davis, Pete Warner, Zach Bond, Nephi Sewell, DeMarco Jackson, Jalen. No Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
No
Sewell and
Jalen
Jackson.
Smith.
I mean, that's a little bit of a surprise. Jalen Smith, somebody signed late, and he flashed, and it's like, all right, veteran player. I don't know exactly how much he can play, but I think he can help you.
It posited that maybe it's kind of a lack of special teams.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, kids out there, play special teams in college. Play special teams.
Well, if it's still around,
it's fair. Play special teams, though, if it is still
the 2 special
around,
teams that are
because
still
you can immediately have a role in the NFL. If you're in the NFL, don't be afraid to play special teams.
Just practice punt and punt return. I wouldn't worry too much about kickoff kids. If you're like 10 or 11, it ain't going to be there when you get to college.
The special teams need to be better this year. I mean, it wasn't disastrous last year, like on LSU's level, but in terms of like hitting yardage and helping your offense out, they didn't really do the little things that they had been doing the last few years. So definitely a point of emphasis there.
Yeah, obviously, too, right? I mean, they changed all the specialists as well. Well, except for the deep snapper. Shout out Zach Wood. Still holding it down. Got to be weird when the kicker and punter go and the snapper stays, right? It's a bit like having 2 new girlfriends.
Yeah.
Both at once. Which I know plenty about, guys, okay? At cornerback, you keep Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Debo, Alante Taylor. And here's the second name that I would put with Max Garcia, Isaac Yiadom. Get him.
Yeah. Cosign what T-Bob just said. Right here.
For all the talk of corner. Shout out Isaac, though.
Yeah.
Safety, Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus May, JT Gray, Jordan Howden, Ugo Amadi, and Lonnie Johnson Jr. And then I just said Blake Gruby, Lou Headley, and Zach Wood. And there are your Saints 53-man roster. Okay? Feels pretty solid, boys. No major surprises, maybe save for the specialist decisions, which we already broke down, the Jalen Smith thing and the Bradley Roby.
Yeah. I think that's the 3. It's trading away Will Lutz, it's cutting Jalen Smith, and it's cutting Roby as well. I think that's the 3 biggest surprises. For Roby, we've already talked about it. Alante Taylor slides in. For Jalen Smith, we'll see. I mean, Zach Bond, it's like we've been waiting on that guy for a long time to do something defensively. He's done some things on special teams, and then Sewell, and then Jackson. I think Jackson's a player, maybe not this year. I think down the road. I loved his college tape, but
aren't they high on both them? Sewell and Jackson, in terms of like potential.
Yeah, and those guys can both play teams, and so when you do a deep dive into it, it's not that big of a surprise, and you can probably bring Jalen Smith back if you wanted to. Remember, he can be on the practice squad.
Yeah,
even though he's a veteran player, he can still. And I don't think anybody claims him, and so you can invite him back, and he'd be a great guy to have on the practice squad leadership, because the practice squad is the look team, and you got a leader over there on the look team, knows how important the look team is, and if he accepts that role, which it feels like he would, I mean, he obviously still wants to continue his career, it could be something of value for you.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the 2 guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.